Are you a small business owner that is confused over your accounting records? Accounting by Art can help you eliminate this confusion with a free initial one-on-one consultation. Art offers QuickBooks training seminars, covers both QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online, as well as addressing your specific needs and questions. Visit accountingbyart.com and set up your free consultation today. Confused about your personalized mailers for your business needs? Specialty Mailing can provide all services for your mailings from start to finish. Call 1-888-534-4514 or visit them on the web at specialtymailing.com. Welcome to episode 4 of Real Live Marketing with Barry Kazire. Hey, so this week's episode is about email marketing. And I perform regular 2-hour talks or more for small business people every month talking about email marketing. And so this is definitely a subject I know quite a bit about. And everybody in my office is very knowledgeable regarding the subject of email marketing. Our guest today, Richard Terry, he actually attended one of our seminars on email marketing, and he's been implementing our tools, and he's going to share with us what he's done to achieve success with this particular marketing tool. I want you to listen up a little later for tips on how to improve your open rate on your emails so you get people to actually open and read your emails and not delete them. Okay, you definitely want people to open your emails. There are a lot of things in a person's in basket, and there are a lot of things that people delete. So I'm going to show you how to get past that and actually get people to open and then read your emails. We'll give you that additional tip later on in the show. Hey, we've got a couple clients that are sponsors for today's episode. One of them is our friend Specialty Mailing. I tell you, if you want to save some money on getting direct mail out, the best way to do it is to use a place like Specialty Mailing. They do everything. They actually even do the digital printing and matching capabilities to match your list up to the mailing pieces and actually fill in the name at different places throughout the mailing to totally personalize it. Or they do just your basic type of bulk mail as well. They provide every service you can think of, from that kind of digital printing all the way through to doing the mailing services. They provide lists. You can save a lot of money on postage. So mention this ad and they'll give you 25% off any list that you'd like to purchase as well. Or if you're providing your own list, they provide free national change of addressing processing. Call 1-888-534-4514 or visit them on the web, specialtymailing.com, and get started today. Direct mail doesn't have to be a headache with Specialty Mailing. Our other sponsor is our friend Art from Accounting by Art. If you're feeling lost with accounting, bookkeeping, or payroll for your small business, Accounting by Art offers a 1-hour free consultation for the state of your business. Art has years of experience helping small business owners with their accounting needs. He also offers QuickBooks training seminars covering both QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online. He definitely addresses specific needs and questions in those seminars, and the participants at the seminars will get a free 1-hour office visit after the class to be sure that their QuickBook issues are solved to their satisfaction. Mention this ad at any consultation with Art, and you get 10% off your initial services when you sign up and pay for your first month. Visit accountingbyart.com today and get started and take some of those confusions off of your plate. And now let's get on to our show with Richard Terry, and we're going to be talking about email marketing. I'd like to welcome my guest, Richard Terry from Accolade Kitchen and Bath. Thanks for joining us today, Richard. I appreciate it.
It's nice to be here, Barry. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah, that's great. And you picked email marketing, which is awesome. because that's how we met.
That is correct. It was through constant contact, and that's how we both met, was going through some of your seminars as well. So
Great. And you've referred people to us for websites. I appreciate that, and I appreciate taking the time to be with us as a guest
well,
too
thank
today.
you. It's nice to be here.
It's great. Thank you. Good. So, are you St. Louis? Were you born and raised here in St. Louis?
No, I'm a transplant.
You're a transplant. Me too.
Yeah, so I was born in Rye, New York, and brought up in Pennsylvania, and went to school in Florida, the University of Miami, and fell in love with the South and started a swimming pool business down there. It was 28 years, had 18 employees.
Wow.
We service 450 pools a week, build about 30 pools a year. Met my wife down there, and that's how I came back to St. Louis. I have two kids, a 30-year-old daughter who's married, and a son's 28.
All right. Well, fantastic. And so you own your own business today, but I'm sure you've had a lot of different jobs along the way to where you are today.
Well, yes. During summer jobs and things, thought I wanted to be in the hotel administration business. Worked in a couple places. Also worked for an antique car museum. We rebuilt and restored automobiles, which was kind of fun. But then when I got out of school, I spent 2 years in the Army. And then I didn't quite realize what I wanted to do. So then I spent a winter in Aspen, Colorado, ski bumming. And then I worked construction over the summer and went to Sun Valley the following winter. And then I realized if it's meant to be, it's up to me. So it's when I went to work for a construction company in Naples, Florida. And I worked for them for a year and a day. It's the longest I ever had to work for somebody else in my life.
Wow.
So then I started my swimming pool business in Key Largo, Florida. So then when I moved here, I commuted for 12 years, went down Monday, came back Thursday, and I got tired of that, sold my business down there and started Accolade Kitchen and Bath here.
That's great. So you've been doing sales and marketing all along as
Yeah.
as a business owner.
Yes.
It's like it's a required skill as a business owner.
Yeah, we wear many hats as a small business entrepreneur. Yeah.
It's true. I mean,
Yeah.
I have friends that are chiropractors, and if you want to be a chiropractor, and you want to have your own chiropractic practice, then you have to be able to close people on getting your services and buying plans. So you end up learning all about marketing and all about sales.
Yeah, it's more than just bending over and cracking bones and getting you well. So
Right. Same thing in the construction
Yeah.
industry. The guys that do well, whether they're salespeople.
Yes.
And they're marketers. They figure out a niche, a tool, or a series of tools that works for them.
That's correct.
That's great. So you figured out some stuff, and I guess today what we're talking about is email marketing. And so you've been using email for how long?
I've been using the constant contact now probably for about five years, and actually stumbled upon it and went to one of the seminars and really liked what I saw. And it was a struggle at first because I am IT challenged, so everything I did I had to learn by myself and be self-taught. But it was a good vehicle to stay in touch with your clients and to keep them informed. And it's been a good tool for me as far as in marketing and staying in touch with my clients.
That's great. What is it? What would you say? What is email marketing? I mean, basically, email marketing. What's your definition of it? I mean, I talk about it all the time, so it's actually fun to have somebody else tell me what it is. So, what was your definition of what email marketing is?
I believe it's just a way to stay in contact with your clients. So they say, 4 or 5 times a year, you should at least be in touch with your clients and just stay top of mind. So when they're thinking about either doing a project that you happen to do, or a friend of the family's is doing a project, that they'll be thinking about you as opposed to somebody else. So email marketing is just a way to stay in contact. It's just another way to touch your clients.
That's great. Yeah, because people get distracted, they forget about you.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
And so if you're in their in basket occasionally, at least, monthly, quarterly, well, they're less likely to think of the other guy that could give them a new closet.
That's right.
Yeah. So this worked out well for you.
It has. It's been a good tool, and I've gotten a great response, and I get a good open rate. I average anywhere between 28 to 33% open rate.
That's great. Yeah. How many people in your list?
I have over 450 people that I send that to.
Great. And it's paid off for you. It's resulted in sales.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Any particular example that you could tell me?
Yeah, there was originally when I first started, we subscribed to Service Magic, which was a online uh, lead generation company out of Colorado. And we got this doctor in University City. We did her master bathroom, and we built a bathroom down in the basement for them. And by sending out the newsletter, it was 5 years later. She says, "Richard, we're ready to do our kitchen now." So it's just a matter of staying in touch. And then we did their kitchen, and they said, "Well, while you're here, we'd like to redo our den. Can you do that?" And I said, "Sure, we can do that too. We don't specialize in it, but it was stupid for me to recommend somebody else." So we did that too. So that's kind of how it happens. And then she recommended a friend of hers. We did a bathroom for her friend down about 3 blocks down the street. So
Great. Do you just remember to always collect new email addresses? Where do you get your new email addresses?
uh, through networking and from clients when we do business with them, that's kind of where I build my list, and I get permission from them to use it. Say, "Hey, would you like to be on my list? We'll send you a newsletter." And they said, "Sure."
Good. And you do that from the very first contact with a person? Do you collect all their information, including their email address?
Yes, I do.
Great. That's great. It's good. It's a good just standard policy to do. That's great. Good. So and I'm sure you have people fall off your list, but the solution is to just keep adding them. I mean, if they go away, fine. You just keep adding people to it.
I think in probably the 5 years I've been doing this, I probably have maybe 10 or 15 people that dropped off my list.
Really, they just stick around.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. That's fantastic. That's great. And I mean, you're emailing to them 4 or 5 times a year, basically like every other month.
That's correct.
That's great. That's great. Perfect for your industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And you've got some really nice emails here too. You showed me a couple really beautiful emails here today, and you've designed them yourself all along. Like you said, you're IT challenged. It's okay because I'm hammer challenged. Saws, keep me away from a saw. Uh, so, uh, have your emails improved? I mean, because you do them all yourself.
Yeah, originally I had a graphic designer help me set it up with the colors and the scheme and stuff like that. And then I've kind of just added to it. And when I needed some help, I'd call Constant Contact. They were great. They have a great customer service people. They actually, you get frustrated because it comes back, and depending on what kind of software you have, the wording and stuff will be different and whatever. And because you send a sample and it comes back and you go, "Oh, it's perfect." Then you send it out and they go, "Hey, it's all weird." So they've been real helpful with that. And I've just evolved all along, and I take people's criticism or constructive criticism when they say. And one of the things that I started doing about 3 months ago is I feature a kitchen, a bathroom, or a closet or storage solution each month, or every other month, and I pick one and feature that. And they said, "Well, you should have before and afters." I just used to show the pictures, and so the last 3 months or the last 3 issues, we've been using just before and after pictures, and it's been very well received. And that's been one thing. So it evolves. I think if you look at the first one and compare it to this one, you'll see the difference.
Great. And your format for an email, just run us through what kind of stuff I'm looking at it right here, but tell me, what does your email contain every time? Like what's the layout of it?
Normally I'll have some tips of, 4 or 5 things to avoid when designing your kitchen or your bathroom. And then I'll go into the featured kitchen or bath or closet of the month. And then I will do a recipe for something that would be seasonal. Sometimes in the fall we'll do barbecue stuff or something like that.
Mm.
And then I also have a
brown sugar meatloaf here.
Yeah,
that's good. Is that your recipe?
No, I kind of I think from school that plagiarism is the best sign of flattering. So I go online and just pick stuff out and change it. But then.
Great.
And then I have For Business, which is a golfing networking group that I'm involved in. We meet the first Friday of every month, and we network, and then we go out and have a group golf lesson, and we play 9 holes. And then I have a deal on the Adoption Exchange. I'm on the board of the Adoption Exchange here in Missouri, and we help find forever families for foster kids that have been bounced around in foster homes. And they're usually harder to place because their average age is somewhere between 11 and 14 years old. So that's been very rewarding for me. And then the other thing is if we have the cabinet companies that I use, if they have a special or something, I'll have that at the bottom for a little blip. So that's kind of the format that I use. And every other month it's different. So it's people look forward to it.
That's great. That's great. And they get a recipe. And did you actually try this brown sugar meatloaf?
I do. I try everything I send.
Yeah,
I do.
That's great. You actually, okay, so you cook it. You're not just promoting it.
I'm not just promoting it. No, I love to eat too. So
wow, yeah, asparagus chicken and pecan pasta as well as the other recipe.
Yeah,
there. That's great. You may have people subscribing just so they can get these recipes.
Yeah.
The meatloaf looks fantastic. It looks really good.
Well, there's something in there for them. So, whether it's the recipe or whether it's the tips on designing or, what things to avoid, or maybe just looking at the pictures.
Yeah, it's great. And you get these great pictures in here. You've got that really represent, you get this closet that's just a typical closet. And then you've really evolved it into something. And now a guy's got a place for all his shoes, a place for all these various little bits and pieces. And it's actually like a space where you can actually figure out what you want to wear for the day. So, yeah, that's fantastic. And then the kitchens are, you've transformed the bathroom or the kitchen here. Like the shower is awesome. I love this shower. This is great. So tell me 5 things that you think that everybody should include in their emails.
Well, I think, first of all, it should be informative and for your clients, depending on who you're trying to reach. Some helpful tips is always good.
Just on the formative thing, it's like, what I like about, I'm just looking at your newsletter real quick, and it doesn't talk over my head. I know that there's people that in different industries, when they're talking, they can tend to talk over my head. Like, I don't know what you're talking about,
Right.
and so this is like, your tips are helpful, but they're at the same time, they're not, they're not basically talking down to me. Even though I'm hammer challenged,
Right.
I can still take this advice. So that's
Right.
good. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, helpful tips. And then I always say never lose your sense of humor. So I always like to have something fun in there, to make you laugh. And then I have a charity that we support. So I have something in there that's for the community maybe. And then, if you have some specials, it's a good way to promote that. So it's kind of low key. You're not just saying buy me. You're being informative. You're letting them have something to read. And, if they like you, they're gonna buy from you.
That's great. Yeah, I noticed that you give part of your article here, and then you give a link back to your website. So the rest of this, I suppose, is on your blog, on your website.
Well, it's on. They can link to it. Again, I'm IT challenged, so I don't have a blog yet. So to go to, and I don't have it on my website, which I'd like to do as well.
Okay, so I can help with that.
But that was one of the things they did teach me in Constant Contact with how to link to it, because in my first couple ones, it was just went on and on and on and on, because I didn't know how to do that.
Good. So where's the rest of the stuff then?
If you go online and go to that link, you'll be able to link to it.
Oh, okay, so great. Great. All right, good. Yeah, we'll have to help you figure out how to put it on your website, because that could drive traffic to that. That would be perfect.
Be a great idea.
Yeah, and you get the rest of the recipe that people, there's some great stuff here. For the adoption exchange, if people want to find out about that, then go to 314-291-3313. They can call that number to get more information about that, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Good. We'll put all that in the show notes too, so people can find all that information if they're interested, because there will be people, I'm sure, they're interested, and we'll have to include a couple of these recipes in the show notes as well.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Good. Well, great. So what would you say is the biggest sale that you've gotten, or the best lead, the best piece of repeat business that you've gotten from using email marketing?
Well, last year, 45% of our business was repeat business. So I have to say that the email marketing certainly had to attribute to a majority of that. Word of mouth is our best sales as far as getting referrals and getting warm referrals. We did a kitchen for a couple that we went in and actually they took their family room that was kind of a screened-in porch and made it winterized that and made that whole totally part of their kitchen. So it was a huge, just made it almost double the size of their kitchen. So it was a big project. We had fun doing it. We took away the French doors that opened up out into the screened-in porch and made that part of their kitchen. Put a big island in there, so they had a place to work and entertain. And so it was a nice project.
That's great. That's great. So it sounds like, I mean, this has definitely worked for you as a marketing tool.
Yes, it has.
Fantastic. Well, that's great. Can you give us a couple of, I mean, you've been running your own business for a long time. You've taught yourself marketing. You're successful as a salesperson. I'm sure you find guys that work for you that have those same qualities. Could you give us some, what are some books or something that you might recommend to the business owner out there to where he can bring his business up to this level or to the next level?
Well, the first thing I'd say is just learn to be a good listener, because a lot of clients don't want to know your stuff. They don't care about that. They want to know how you're going to solve their problem. So if you focus on them and how you're going to solve their problem, you'll be very successful. The other thing I'd recommend is a book called The 7 Levels of Communication. It's Changed My Life by Michael J. Mayer. And it's not rocket science, 130 pages, and it's just simple strategies to help get more referral business. And it's by the generosity generation, by just learning to give and help other people, and it'll come to you, and it does. I've been on. They have a seminar once a month, and it's been 3 years now. And I planted seeds a long time ago, and they're starting to come to fruition. And people are calling me and say, "Hey, Richard, I was thinking about you, and I'm ready to do my kitchen now or whatever." So it does work, and it's just a simple strategy, and it's a great book. And the other thing I would say is, have solutions for your clients. I mean, that's what they're looking for. They have a problem, and you should be able to solve that problem for them.
That's great. That's great. You're the third person last month to recommend that book to me. So, so I think that's
third Thursday of the month at the MAC West, 9:30 to 11, and it's free. So
fantastic. That's great. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. So, Richard Terry from Accolade Kitchen and Bath. You can find your website is
www.accoladekb.com.
Fantastic. And he's got some beautiful stuff here. You should get your closet redone. Treat yourself. And get on his newsletter so you can treat yourself to some of these recipes too.
Well, thank you, Barry. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. The difference between an email and an excellent email is as much as 1,000% increase in conversion rates. That's not a made-up statistic. If you don't currently have email marketing, this evaluation service can be used to get you started and give you an exact roadmap in getting email marketing off the ground in your business. This service is definitely for you, and you need to get started right away. Go to reallivemarketing.com to get signed up now. Hey, well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Richard. And as we mentioned, we're going to be having a second part to this, not this coming week, but in a few weeks, with Paige Cahill, who's the Regional Development Director for the Midwest for Constant Contact, which is the email marketing system that both Richard and I use. Paige has been doing this a long time with email marketing, and she trains, I don't even know how many people. But we're going to be talking to her in just a few weeks to continue with this subject of email marketing, because it definitely deserves more than one show. Now, I did promise you a couple tips on how to get your emails opened, and there are actually 3 key factors regarding getting your email opened. 1, who is the email from? That is extremely important. Your emails should actually come from a person. They actually need to come from Richard or from Barry or Susan, whoever's most recognizable in your business. That's who the email should come from. Don't send them from info or some other generic title that is going to be automatically identified as spam or junk mail, and it'll end up being deleted. It needs to come from a person, and it's more likely to get opened. Also, the domain name, which is part of the email address, your www, whatever your business is.com, which reflects in your email address, needs to describe what your business is. You want people to be able to recognize who you are from those two things, the name and the rest of the email address. An example would be if I sent emails from info@rtm.com, that's the name of one of my businesses, Response Targeted Marketing. If I abbreviated it to rtm.com, well, people will go info, RTM, okay, whatever, delete, and they would be out of there. So, yeah, it's really important that it shows who it's coming from, both in an individual's name and in a company name, because people get the email and they go Barry@responsetargetedmarketing.com or Barry@reallivemarketing.com. And they go, oh, yeah, that one guy. He talked about he's got a radio show or a podcast, or he's the guy that came and did that talk on email marketing. They're more likely to open those emails than the other more generic ones. So that's the first thing. Who's it from? The second thing has to do with the subject line. You cannot send out a boring subject line. You've got about 2 seconds. Those first 2 words are very important, and there's got to be a reason for them to open it today. We call it the 2 by 2 by 2 principle, right? So you got 2 seconds. And you got to keep that in mind. Those first 2 words need to be chosen so as to grab their attention and get them to read the rest. And then there's got to be some urgency or reason for them to open it today. One example is if you receive something that said March newsletter. Well, that's obviously very boring. Or Joe's Pet Store newsletter. Or children's classes. Those are all exceedingly boring titles. Whereas we could spice it up. Let's say March newsletter, that first one's, I'm on the email list for, let's say, Habitat for Humanity. But instead I received this instead of March newsletter. The subject line says, tomorrow, need 3 hammers. Can you help? Okay, well, good. Now you got my attention. Tomorrow, I'm kind of curious. I'm wondering what's going on. I don't know if I've got time to help. I wonder if any of my buddies are helping. Do they have any other projects I can get involved with? I'm curious. So I'm going to go ahead and open and start scanning through that email. The next one, Joe's Pet Store newsletter. Well, I go there every other week to get stuff for my dog, Why do I care about reading Joe's newsletter? Instead, Joe could spice it up by saying this, alert, help your dog beat the heat. All right. Well, good. So Joe's smart, and he's got a list for guys who are dog owners versus cat owners, and then another list for reptile and fish people. And he sent me that email with a subject line specifically targeted at me. And I'll probably read that tip. I'll open it up. And then, you know what? He's captured my attention, and I see in there that there's also a play date for dogs coming up this weekend. And I go in, and I end up spending some more money that I wouldn't have spent otherwise. The last example I gave, children's classes. All right, well, we could definitely spice that up. We could say something like this. Still time. Limited spaces available for children's classes. Register now. All right, good. Well, still time. That puts kind of the fear into me that I might miss something that's important. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up just to make sure there isn't one of those classes that my kid has been begging for and I don't miss out getting he or she registered. So fortunately, I opened it up and it's a class my daughter was really interested in. I got her registered. Whew. Okay, good. So the subject line is really important. So you got 2 seconds. Those first 2 words are important, and there's got to be a reason for them to open it today. The last point is, when do you send it? Now, we recommend splitting up your list into separate groups and sending out the same email, same time of the day, on different days to see which day gets the best open rate. You can also do the same thing with 3 different times during your best day that you found. That way you can locate the best day and the best time. If you have any questions about how to do this using email marketing tool, feel free to call my office. The number is on our website there at Real Live Marketing. So that's your 2 by 2 by 2 principle. And so it has everything to do with who it's from, the subject line, and when you send it. Those three things will get your email opened. All right. And I talk a lot more about this in my class, and we'll probably go over it even more when we have Paige Cahill here just in a couple weeks. All right. So thanks for joining with Real Live Marketing. We'll see you next week.